Hey guys, welcome back to Open It and Play. This is Mike, and today we're going to be looking at the Marvel Legends Iron Man. This is an old Iron Man armor. It's from I don't even know what year, maybe 7 years ago, 6 years ago. But I'm thinking it was probably pre-pandemic. It's been a while since it came out, but I have this armor and I have the Diamond Select version. I actually prefer the Diamond Select version to this Marvel Legends one, but the effects with this one and the Diamond Select one both rock. If you that sounds really old style when I say that, but if you know, Iron Man has pulse bolts. The Diamond Select comes with that, and Iron Man has repulsor rays, which are his main weapon, and this one comes with great kind of classic comic book style repulsor rays. It's his repulsor rays or repulsor blasts are his signature move, and I have one version of this armor, but I bought another one recently because I want more of the effects from my displays. So let's get this guy out of the package. Now, I bought him online. I can't remember what the price was exactly, but it was very reasonable. He may have been very close to his original price, which was probably $20, but I think I paid closer to like 30, 25 or 30. So very similar to the average Marvel Legends price that you would pay now. So one of the cool things about the Silver Centurion armor is it has different colors than basically all other armors except the War Machine armor. But instead of his red and gold, he's kind of got a different style of red and silver. And back in the day when it debuted, I think it was the early 80s, but it was kind of a fresh idea. And actually the aesthetic for this armor really took off, and this is one of Iron Man's most famous armors. So a lot of important things happened when Tony Stark was using this armor in the comics at that time. So Iron Man built this armor, and then he fought, he fought Firepower, and then when he lost to Firepower, that was kind of like the end of this armor. So, but he was overconfident at that time, and then he built a new red and gold armor. So, but let's look at the accessories first. Now, this is an older figure, so these accessories have probably been in here for a very long time since I bought this guy new. They're a little bit oily or waxy feeling, but not too bad. But and he's got these alternate hands that he comes with too. So for the Diamond Select version of this armor, it's actually heavier or bigger, but this version is much closer to your average Marvel Legends figure. It's kind of weird because I often think of this armor as being just a little bit bigger than his typical armors, but we don't get that with this Marvel Legends version. We get like basically the average typical size. These are the effects that I like the most. These like wide blast, like rather unfocused repulsor blasts, and when he uses these in the comics, he kind of makes a wider beam from the projectors in his hands, and then that makes the force reduced over a wide area. It spreads it out over a wide area. So if he uses a tighter beam like these, then it's going to be a much more powerful blast, which will kind of like poke holes in stuff. They are concussive weapons, and so if he uses something like this, he's going to be able to knock out regular humans or enemy soldiers or AIM soldiers or something like that. And if he uses these, they're a much more effective blast to strike armored opponents with, or characters with kind of increased durability. It seems to be hard to focus on these guys. But okay, and then he does also come with these little extra effects, and these are supposed to be ported into his boots, I think. And you may know it already, but you can pop these off, and then essentially you have the same effect. So these are identical. But but yeah, you got some options with these 6 different effects. And these wide beam ones are the one that I really like because it just mimics the appearance in the comics so well. Now they also have the 80th, I think it was the 80th version of Iron Man Marvel Legend. That one actually has the same sculpts, but unfortunately unfortunately for me, they're done in like a cartoonish way. So they're painted, they're cast in yellow, and they're painted with kind of like a white, what's the word? Basically like a white airbrushing to give it a little bit of texture, but it just doesn't quite work for me with the toy aesthetic. So for some people, that's probably their favorite. But okay, and then we move on to the figure himself. So he does have the hooded appearance of this funny kind of hood over his main head. So it's a much thicker style helmet, but unfortunately the aesthetic of the Marvel Legend kind of fails to capture some of the parts from the comic. This thing on his back should be significantly bigger, but I think they wanted to save money, so it's done more cheaply. And I think in the comics, these crests will stick out more. So these are kind of too stubby or overly stubby. The general appearance is good. It's just not as faithful to the comics as it could be. So that's one of the reasons why I prefer Diamond Select despite its 7-inch scale dimensions. This one's going to match for the scale with these better, but in my mind, this armor is just a bit bigger than usual because of its hunky backpack, or chunky backpack, I should say. Hunky, it's a attractive man, but a chunky backpack and the hooded helmet, like I said before. But this version kind of fails to capture that size. But if we look at his articulation, he's got kind of the standard articulation for a Marvel Legends Iron Man. And if we see that here, his head is on a dumbbell joint, which is actually better than most Marvel Legends. So I kind of got to eat my words there. It's not the average style for this, but this does give you a better posability, and it does have kind of a comfortable feel to it. You can get him posed all around there. You do get some unsightly gaps if you go to the extreme, but it does allow him to capture kind of like a flight pose much better. So then his arms, these pieces rotate. His shoulder pieces rotate with the arm, so you can go all the way around, and this far up, this will get in the way, so you won't be able to go closer than that. But okay, and then he does have a bicep cut, the double jointed pinned elbows that were kind of a standard at this time for their male figures. No twist at the no twist at the glove. Sorry. Okay, and then you do have one drawback here. These hands do not have any joint on them, so they're just splayed out for his repulsor effect, and then you port the effect into this hole. But unfortunately, you can't angle it down like you can with the modular armor release of this figure. So that part is something that's a big drawback for me, as I I love Iron Man. Sorry, as I love Iron Man, I really want him to have the max options for that. But okay, and his ab crunch will get you down that far and back that far. Okay, he does have a waist cut, and it's blended in nice because of this kind of armored underpants situation here. And he can he can kick up to here, and he does have the thigh cut, which is pretty stiff after being new in the package for all those years. It's almost old in the package, I could say. And he's got double jointed pinned knees. His boots, unfortunately, do not swivel unless they're just stuck. But no, I don't think they swivel because they kind of form up into the shape around the knee here. So, and then this part, he does have ankle hinges that go back pretty nicely. Forward, a decent amount. It's not the greatest, but it's not too bad. So, and then he's got ankle pivot. He doesn't have any kind of rotation, only the pivot. So you'll be a little worse for wear when it comes to posability there. But as you can see, I have a modular armor here. So if we put those side by side, you can get a good idea about the size of the figures. Sorry, it's not focused on them. Okay. I don't think he was with Cap too often when he was wearing this. I think this would be more the West Coast Avengers era. So it was sort of when there was a rift between Captain America and Iron Man. The main rift opened up later, but when the West Coast Avengers were dissolved. But yeah, they were kind of on separate Avengers teams at this time. So, okay, and then you can see him with one of his fellow West Coast Avengers teammates here. That's Tigra from the Avengers West Coast 5-pack. Yeah. Also came with, who was it? No, not Wonder Man, sorry. Another version of this that's recolored. And Spider-Woman, Tigra, Hank Pym, and Mockingbird. So that's a great set, and that thing is kind of on sale recently. I'm still not wanting to do anything to promote a gigantic evil corporation like Amazon, who has sided with the Schnazis. But if you don't have that pack, it is a very nice pack. So if you can get it for a decent price. Sorry, there she is next to him. Sorry, took a while to get them in position. But anyways, I think that's about it for this review. Do you like this version of Iron Man? This is not my top suit, but I think I can say it's in my top 5. I would say modular, the Hero's Return armor, and a War Machine. War Machine is almost second, but I think he'll be third. And I think I could put Hulkbuster next, and then probably I would go with this one. I do like his original Clunker armor, the original gray armor. It's not silver, it was gray. He was building it like with almost no resources. So a lot of people out there think that it should be painted silver, but it was not silver. It was a flat, crappy metal. So doesn't mean it wouldn't be shiny though. But okay, anyways, thank you guys for joining me on this look at this kind of retro figure. That was the Iron Man Silver Centurion from the Marvel Legends line. And if I can get you a year on that, that was 2020. So, hey, it was 5 years ago. It wasn't quite as old as I thought. But, okay, thanks for joining me on this one, and hope to see you in the next video.